West Coast controversy or rivalry.
Yeah.
Was it as real as people made it out to be?
You know what? In our eyes, it wasn't. It was just like people in the know knew that it was this individual that had beef with this individual. By the time the media got it, it was coast against coast.
Coast to coast, right.
I feel like sometimes they have to categorize things for simple-minded people to keep up. So they generalized everything. And what they didn't know was that at the end of the day, these dudes that aren't on the radar, the dudes that aren't stars but roll with these entourages are killers, murderers. You know, they from the block. These are street kids that have no empathy whatsoever. And basically they're sociopaths. So, I mean, my man doesn't like you, so I don't like you. You don't know my face, but I know yours because you're a public figure every day. So they the media kind of loaded those guns with those bullets. They didn't fire them, but they gave them the bullets to shoot. You know what I mean? And we were there. We were in Cali, the whole Wu-Tang. And we were still, I think, promoting our first album because we were staying in the Oakwoods and shit. And I remember seeing Big 2 days before that.
Notorious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was my birthday. And we were hanging out and there was the awards going on and stuff like that. And I remember he was on a cane because he had just gotten in a car accident. Lil C's almost crippled him. And I'm not going to say that he wasn't, he was out and about. He wasn't hiding, but you can tell he was a little uncomfortable. Because usually when I hook up with Big, he would come directly to me. But this time, maybe it was his leg, who knows. But he sent C's. Yo, Big over here, he want to talk to you. Okay. Went over there, said what up to him, chopped it up with him for a little bit, and that was it. And next thing I know, I got a call from somebody in the Bad Boy camp, can't remember, and they was like, they shot Big. And I was like, oh my God, no way. But I'm thinking in my head, he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. Then to hear he passed, the thing that disgusted me the most was after he passed, because it was an award show going on, Soul Train Awards, most of the artists from the East Coast that were there left. I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all just played into what the media has been telling us all this time, and y'all in the know. Y'all know that it's not an East Coast, West Coast thing. Nobody's worried about y'all. This man just lost his life over something so dumb. We should have stood our ground and stayed in the West Coast to show that it's not an East Coast, West Coast beef. Not only that, but to show support for Biggie and his family. And
so you're saying all the guys from the East moved back to
a lot of the guys from the East that were out there for the awards
Gotcha.
left the next day without even attending the awards.
Oh, I see.
You know, everybody was shook, scared, whatever the hell you want to call it, call it. Wu-Tang stayed out there, not because we were trying to be brave. We had work to do. And we knew in our heads that it wasn't an East Coast, West Coast thing because we were out in the clubs with these dudes every day. We never have security. That's not our thing. We are our own security. And it was never any drama whatsoever at all. It was one weird night. Somebody said in my ear like some craziness about, yo, Meth, because some girl did some craziness to me and I got really mad and I was steaming and some dude walked by me in the club and was like, what's good, Meth? He was a Crip. I'm like, nothing, man. This girl over, he's like, that bitch. We got the heat up in here. And it didn't register to me at first, but I seen the handle and I'm like, wait, no, we out of here. Out of here.
Yeah.
No,
we're not going to kill this girl.
Hell no way. But this dude got a gun in the club.
Right.
I'm like, we get out of this club. You know what I'm saying? If he got a gun in, imagine who else got a gun in this motherfucker.
Right.
For real.
Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned with Big, why did he do we even know what happened? Why he got shot?
It was something that happened with Tupac. Basically, this story's been told over and over again. They say that it was Tupac felt like he was set up when he went to Quad Studios to record. Puffy and the family and all of them happened to be there. And when Pac came through the lobby and was about to get on the elevator, dudes tried to rob him. He reached and they tore his ass up. And at the end of the day, he's thinking to himself, because he's getting locked up now for some charge that he had prior to that, some rape charge thing or something like that. He's in jail and people are telling him, yo, they set you up. Now, when you in jail, you know, it's like people in jail know more than people on the street, you know, and they saying, well, these dudes set you up and this, that, and the third. And Pac did interviews and everything, igniting that, and all he ever said was bad boy this, bad boy that, and anybody that spoke up for bad boy, he spoke out against him. He didn't say F New York, he didn't say F the East Coast. He just spoke about those individuals. Then the Vibe article comes out while Pac is in jail, and they put Biggie and Puff on the cover. And it said, in bold letters, East versus West. That was it, right there. And, you know, I'm not going to point any fingers at Vibe because they've made leaps and bounds since then. You know, everyone learns from their mistakes, but that was a very big mistake, and I think it cost some people their lives, man. You know,
by starting that,
right? And I mean, there were conflicts between Bad Boy and Death Row at Soul Train Award shows and different events here and there, and you know, certain people got shot, and this one gets killed, and you know. It was just an ugly situation all around, man. That's why I've always, for my crew, being like in the forefront of the Wu-Tang, I've always said that I'm not just being safe for myself, I'm being safe for everybody. So I didn't hang out as much. I wasn't never really a hangout type of dude anyway. I'm more internal than external.
Gotcha, yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is crazy because I'm hosting this show, so I got to be like that. But I would never create a problem where other people around me could get hurt. You have to think like that, especially when you're in the public eye like that.
You have influence.
Yes, exactly.
You know, with the size of your crew, you have influence.
And I learned a valuable lesson from that, how far that influence spreads, because we got two potential greatest of all time rappers gone for no reason.
And you worked with both, right? You worked with Big?
I worked with Big personally. I went in the studio and worked with Big. I had to sneak and do that because Wu-Tang didn't want me to do the record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't want me to do records with anybody. When you're a hot commodity and you're like the hottest dude at that point in time, because I was hot for a few months. I'll say a year. And everybody wanted to do records with me. But at that point in time, we were still striving to find who we were and to keep the money in the family. So by me spitting on other people's stuff, that's me sharing money with people we don't even do business with. But I went and did the record anyway, and you know, Big was always a cool dude with me. And as far as the Pac record, that was a record I did with the Dog Pound, because I was always cool with them and Snoop.
Snoop's guys, yeah.
Yeah, when they came to the East Coast, even when that beef was happening, I still hung out with these dudes because we knew what it was. And when Pac came home, Pac being the worker that he is, give me everything y'all got. Everybody wanted to contribute, so they were giving them all the records they had already had. California Love was supposed to be for Dre's next album.
Oh, okay.
He gave Tupac that record. The one that me and Redman are on, that was Dog Pound's record for their album. They gave it to Pac for his album, all family shit. And that's how that came about. But I actually did meet Pac after that. And this was when all that bullshit was going on. And I hadn't seen him the whole night in the club. I remember seeing Latifah. Puffy was there. A few other people were there. But when the lights came on and we were walking out, I felt a tap on my shoulder. Turned around, it was Tupac. Had on all black attire. Seen the Death Row chain. No shirt on like he usually did. Who wears a suit with no shirt? Anyway, Suge was right there, shadowing him. All of a sudden, all these lights and cameras came on. And I'm just looking like, and I ain't gonna lie, I was high as shit. We had mushrooms that night. So I'm tripping off mushrooms. I'm seeing Tupac here. All kind of shit is running through my head, and he's telling me about a situation that happened in Vegas with the RZA. Now, RZA was in Vegas. Something happened with some gang member dudes, jumped him, took his chain. Pac was trying to tell me if he was there, that shit would have never happened. You know, we already got the chain back, blah, blah, blah. And if there's anybody we would with, it would be Wu-Tang. That was the last thing I remember him saying. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, you know, that's what men do. Love is love. And I broke out. I just wanted to get far away from that tension as possible. I'm not used to cameras in my face like that. And the whole night I was there, it was dark, no cameras. All of a sudden when I see Pac, all of a sudden all these cameras come on and shit. So we get out the club. We're talking about that night. I mean, we must have talked about it till like 5 in the morning because we're on mushrooms, of course. But it was crazy. And later on, in hindsight, I think about it, it was like that was Pac reaching out, you know, extending a hand, saying, this ain't no East Coast, West Coast thing. We fuck with y'all. Yeah.